$1,000 a year.
And we're live.
Welcome to the Ramblecast. My name is Jay. With us today is Nick, Boston, and Jack. I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's
buddy.
a real intro,
That wasn't
but-
too enthusiastic on the Jack one.
I know.
Nick,
I said-
Boston, and Jack.
But I finished with you, so that meant like.
But
you
I
were
think maybe you were like we just exhausted.
Well,
Do you have a reason to be tired?
yes, we introduced the latest Glatfelter to the Glatfelter clan. Alexander Thomas Glatfelter was born this Friday night.
So what
Quite
was
quite the sleeper.
He is, but he's the problem that we're having. I mean, it's just when you have a newborn, you're gonna wake up every 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is.
Right.
But he eats, but then he falls asleep as he's eating, so he's not eating enough. And so he'll wake up an hour and a half later, kind of ready to eat. He's like, well, then stay the F awake and eat your whole meal before you fall asleep while you're eating.
Yeah. What's your problem, dude?
And the other thing is that he has a really quick, colon so far. So he'll eat and then he'll poop like an hour later. So he'll fall asleep as he eats, then he'll poop, wake up an hour later, then fall back asleep.
I was lucky enough to be there for his second poop, and my God, I've never seen so much poop in a human.
Well, that's the Merconian. That one's interesting.
Oh, the black tar poop's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And that I like the fact you saved the first diaper, and the nurse came in. Hey, we saved the diaper, and she looked at you like, yeah.
That nurse was intense. She was.
What?
That's why I saved it, because every time she wanted to know the exact time. She wanted to know how, what we
When
breastfed,
did he poop?
which boob it came out. Yeah, she was. I think she was Russian or something. But she
You
was,
must tell me now.
every time. And the last day he was having this weird little breathing thing. So they
She
sent her out to
might have been
NICU.
Russian, but she wasn't an ice curler.
They checked his oxygen levels, and I came back down. She wanted all the poops and the peas and the breastfeeding
And the flowers and the trees.
And I was giving her the rundown. She's like, you know what? Why don't you go write it down with your wife and bring it back to me? I'm like, okay. Well, we're going home in 2 hours, so fuck the homework. Sorry,
Well,
F
she-
the homework.
Oh, way to go, Jay.
Can I be allowed to curse?
No.
I mean, I just had a kid.
No, you didn't have a kid.
That's true. I didn't have that.
You-
Colleen.
You didn't do
You
anything.
didn't do nothing.
Colleen.
You were there 9
Colleen
months
Burke.
ago, and then Colleen did the rest.
I don't know how much Colleen has shared about this. I don't know how much. Honestly, I feel like I know more than she does, because I don't think she remembers most of it because it was so insane. But
Well, all I know is when you were telling the story, I go, you got to stop because I'm starting to get a pain.
so Colleen, it's either somewhere where her uterus is or whatever it is. She had back labor the first time, and she was having back labor this time. And she only made it 3 hours the time before. She was like, let's see if I can go. And she was like, no, F this epidural, let's do it. So she did the epidural, and it was kind of cruise control after that. It was still 19 hours and whatever. So this time, the whole time we were like, all right, epidural, let's just, cut to the chase. Let's get to where we want to go. And when we get there, first they sent us home because she wasn't far along enough yet. So she was home. Timing the contractions and everything. And then we went back in because she was just, on the floor in pain. So we get there, they do the blood test. You have to have a certain platelet count so you don't bleed out. And the platelet count was supposed to be 95. They did the tests and they came back saying it was 93. So she was not eligible for an epidural. It's like, oh, okay. And I said, okay, well, is there another vein or something we can tap to do another test? Because she does not want to go natural. She wants an epidural. And because Colleen, she's a very emotional. She can have high anxiety at times, and I just saw her face, and it's just like, okay, this is what we want. So let's see what else we can do. So they test the other vein. It comes back as 87, and the whole entire plan completely out the window. And she can't have an epidural.
Did you ask for one for yourself?
No. I mean, at
Wake
that
up.
point, it's just
It's covered under the insurance, right? So just
for the non-birthing parents, your job is to just be the support, be the rock, be that person that's there to help get them from, where they are to getting the baby out. And poor Colleen, just she's like, this is not what I signed up for. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So, but nonetheless, she made it through it. It was from that point, another 6 hours or so.
and he came out looking almost perfect.
Yeah,
they could
because
say
well,
lovely.
well, all babies are inherently ugly unless they're your own, and then like, oh, that's cute. But even Zach, like I thought he was the most amazing thing ever, and I look back on the pictures like with more objectivity. I'm like, he wasn't that cute until like 6 months. But they gave her some sedative, and that took the edge off for a little bit. Then it wore off. Boston's mic is out, maybe, and so they.
Bleh.
Hey,
Oh, hey.
okay.
I was just saying they all look like aliens.
Yeah.
Well, it's we classify as two. It's either alien or old man. It's one of the two. You have an
Like a
alien
crinkly
baby and an
forehead.
old man baby. Yeah.
Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with looking like an old man.
Jack, you were an old man.
I never changed.
But
For those at home, I'm simulating
Keep going
the
through the-
birth of a human.
I guess that's what we'll put on the YouTube channel.
So she got to not or 8 centimeters pretty quick. Good thing about going non-epidural, whatever, is that the process is a lot quicker because epidural and pitocin slows stuff down. So they didn't want to. She was too close to what they thought she was going to give birth to give another narcotic or whatever it was to kind of take the edge off the pain. So then they went with laughing gas. So like, okay, well, you can breathe in laughing gas as like the contractions come to try and get through it. That didn't work at all. Like it.
Did you try it?
Huh? I
you
probably
try it?
had some residual contact, but I didn't
buddy.
feel it either. Because Colleen, like she was like each time the contraction hit, it was in her back, and she would instead of she would just like shoot her legs out, and there was times where she was 4 feet above the bed, and it was me and the nurses trying to hold her on the bed each
So
time.
it was like the
Dude, it's like what's in from Ghostbusters?
That's
Yes,
us.
it was literally it was an I told Colin, I was like, that was an exorcism. I am
That's awesome.
the next day. The next
No.
day, I went home to take a shower, checking on Zach and stuff. Oh no, I didn't check on Zach that day. You guys still had him, I think.
Yeah, we had him.
But I went home because I had just had the flu earlier that week. And like I sat there and I was like nauseous, and I told Colin, I was like, I had flashbacks. I had like wartime flashbacks to the day before because it was so intense. But it was just me and the other nurse, and like each time, like she would just in so much pain. She'd almost fall off every single time. And one of the times she nearly kicked the nurse in the head, and I like jumped and grabbed the leg before she kicked the nurse in the face.
Whoa.
It was
No film of this.
no, thank God there isn't. It was.
I think
it was,
we put this on our YouTube channel. We might get some hits.
I think the best description I
Let's
can give
start
is
calling Colleen Emily Rose.
I said it the close is like I felt like I was in a MASH unit during the Korean War. Like it was nuts. And once it came,
Were you Frank Burns?
no, I was just like, please, dear God, let's get through this. But I have to be the the Rock, very calm, like you got this, you can do this. But inside, I'm like, holy shiz balls, like this is insane.
So you're basically saying it's the old joke. If men had to deliver babies, carry the babies, the world would end.
Basically, like it's incredible, and I felt so bad because every time, like, because the contractions were it was back in the back every time. We tried all the different positions, like on the knees. We did everything to try and relieve the pain, and there was just nothing was working. And every time she was like, just knock me out, I'll sign a waiver, I don't care. And it's just like, I was like, I'm sorry. At least each one of these gets us closer to the end, but this is it. This is what we got, and we've got to, get through it.
We got to struggle through this pain. We got to do it. I'm
like,
right there with you.
Like, no joke. I had my shirt. I had blood like all over my shirt because she. Would
so you're like on if it's like an NFL game, you're the kicker.
Kind of, yeah. No, I'm not even the kicker. I'm like the guy like up in the booth, like trying to call the plays, but really isn't.
Okay,
doing
yeah,
anything.
you're the offensive defensive coordinator.
But so she gets to the point where it's actually finally time to push. And she gets Alex to the point where it's like kind of shoulders and his head's out. And you're supposed to wait for the contractions to start to push with the contractions. But there was so much pressure on her pelvis because he was like shoulders out of her body at that point. Is this up out of her body? And the pressure was so insane she couldn't stop, so she had to just keep pushing. So she pushed him out in only like 6 or 7 pushes. But that's why Alex didn't really have the cone head, or like he wasn't really misshapen because he didn't really spend any time.
And I would to let people know I wasn't laughing at the pain. I was laughing at Nick's face. He had this look on his face like,
but yeah, like it was so I cried. I cried afterwards. But I was just like, I was so proud of Colleen. Like she made it through that. She, you know, for all of her saying she didn't want to do it, she did it and she made it through it.
Now, did she look over you crying and go, "What are you doing, crying?"
No, I mean, poor thing. I mean, she had lost so much blood. Like there was just blood everywhere. It was. She was
I think we're gonna lose Nick here in a second.
Like she took that selfie that I think she sent to a lot of people. Yeah. And then she was kind of just woozy and just shaking from the shock. And
dude, she looks fantastic in her post-baby birth pictures.
I know.
Good for her.
Yeah, like just and so I just. Once the baby was, I was just crying. I was like, "You did it! Oh my god!"
Actually,
like, it was
you look like crap, but she looks pretty.
She looks so much better than you.
I know.
That's awesome. Did you get to cut the cord?
I did. I got to cut it twice, so I got to cut the cord.
Great. I mean, it's weird to say that. Isn't that great?
It was hot because I didn't get to do it with Zach because he wasn't breathing when he came out, so they had to take him right away. So I got to do it for the first time this time, and it was cool. It was.
I didn't think it was an option when I was.
No, because you did the C-section.
Yeah,
but so yeah, Colleen, mother. I said you at no point for the rest of your life can you ever tell